Welcome back to the Overwatch League. Guys, Doa and MonteCristo here to bring you our second 4-map, maybe 5-map, who knows, series. It's going to be a good one.
Who can tell?
Who knows? It's a crazy season. It's going to get even crazier later on with all those patch changes we're seeing right now. Man, that's a whole different story. But for now, we're going to get ready for Boston Uprising versus Seoul Dynasty. This one's going to be pretty fun. I mean, now Boston coming back. They've got fusions in the lineup again. Going to probably look a little bit tighter than what we saw against Shanghai last week. And Seoul Dynasty, I feel like they're on an upward trajectory. Hashtag no bias. But what do you think? What do you think?
I mean, I'm excited about this matchup because now we actually get to see the lineup Boston wants to use, which is Color Hex, who's not going to be, off his suspension right now.
Right.
Going to be in the game. Now we're going to see Fusions taking the main tank role. So I think this is the first real look at Boston, as it were, and I'm excited to see it.
Well, let's take a look at what probably the biggest matchup between these two teams right now. It's a main tank matchup. Fissure versus Fusion. It's kind of the veteran in Fissure versus the newcomer in Fusions, but both of these guys have been putting up great numbers lately.
Yeah, and both of them are also providing a lot of that shot calling to their various lineups. Of course, we've heard how hoarse Fusions can get after shouting for an entire match, so definitely core members of both of these teams. And both of them like to play Reinhardt, and they like to play aggressively, so it should be a really fantastic featured tank matchup.
Right, both teams kind of like to follow their Reinhardt into battle, which is kind of a cool style to look at. So I am kind of, we'll see how it goes. Because again, Fusions, he's kind of the new kid on the block still, right? Where Fissure has been around. He's won a lot of matches, so yeah, we'll see. What else are you kind of looking forward to with this one?
I mean, I'm very interested to see what kind of strategies Boston has coming in against the Seoul Dynasty, because Boston has been pretty weak to the Sombra play overall, and I feel like that roadmap was really issued by the New York Excelsior in Boston's first match of the season. If you can hack out Note, if you can hack out Fusions, that is the ticket to victory against Boston. So they need to come up with something against that Sombra play, especially against a player like Michelle. Well,
that's the thing. Like, out of anybody on Seoul Dynasty right now, you can talk about Fissure, but Michelle is, to me, has kind of been a standout player on that team, especially with the Sombra. Plays a lot of Diva as well, but the Sombra has really been something else. Look at that EMP efficiency, 4.4 people per EMP. That is a ridiculously high number.
But a lot of this has become because that he has been taking a too aggressive approach. Because look at this, he's 12th in teamfight first death as Sombra player.
That's the flip side of it,
That's the dark side, is sometimes it gets too aggressive, and so we mentioned this in Watch Point before the matches today, that he needs to actually be able to finish off some of these final blows and stop dying first in the fights, because it doesn't really matter if you hit 5 or 6 people with your hack if you find yourself immediately in a 5 versus 6 scenario, right? You have to fight back with the player down. That's going to be something to look at, is really the follow-up, and Michelle maybe dialing it back just a little bit, because his staying alive is definitely the most important thing.
True enough. Well, let's introduce our first team in this series. Let's give it up for the Seoul Dynasty.
Reppin' 82, I'm in Seoul City. Riding down the streets, got my homies with me. Pull up in a Rover,
and here they come. Korean flags on display. It is the 100th anniversary of the March 1st movement in Korea back in 1919. Very important moment in Korean history. Definitely look that up online. It's a very interesting thing. Of course, celebrating that today as they walk out on stage. And again, you know what? It's like what you said. We need this team to tighten things up a little bit. They've got the great main tank. They've got the playmaker in Munchkin. Jaehong's been popping off on the Ana, on the Zenyatta this year, but everything needs to kind of coalesce a little bit if they're going to kind of keep those momentum that they've grown going, right?
Yeah, but I think this is a very favorable match because they're already prepped for some top-tier Sombra play.
True enough. Well, let's take a look at the Boston Uprising. Here they come. Give it up for Boston. They come, and this is one of those things, right, where last week they didn't have Fusions. They've got him back in the lineup again this time around. So I think we're going to see the Boston Uprising that we've been really enjoying watching so far in this season. Of course, Boston trading Gamsu away to the Shanghai Dragons, who ended up defeating them last week. But Fusion's coming in as this newcomer main tank, been doing really, really well. Now he's a permanent part of this roster. I think this team really is going to go places.
Yeah, and you can see they're carrying the Boston flags on the way in because it's the first anniversary of the first Shanghai win, which was provided by Boston. So
that's true.
Fun little fact. You can look that up, on the internet too.
Approximate 1-week anniversary. It's a big moment in Overwatch history. That is true.
Jokes aside, though, I'm really excited to see Boston now that everybody's available for play. This is the intentional roster. roster that they want to be running right now. It's going to be the first test of them in all of their proper roles, right? We don't have people off-rolling. We don't have missing players. We don't have suspended players. So this is Boston.
Finally.
This is the real Boston that we've got right now, and this is going to be their first big test.
I think it'll be a good one, too. I mean, again, like you said, coming into this one, I feel like you do have to favor Seoul Dynasty a little bit just based on results in the past. And again, on Boston having to kind of juggle different little rosters, but we'll see what they can do. Now, our Toyota map list. Let's see where we're going today. It's going to be Nepal, then Nimbani for a hybrid map, Anubis, and finally ending things on Route 66, unless we do need that 5th control map. We'll see. Should be a good set of maps. I mean, when you look at that layout, what do you think we're going to see? Do you think it's going to favor Seoul?
I mean, I'm hoping that we are going to see some interesting stuff from Seoul here on Nepal, because it could open up some of Fledisfara potentially.
Sure, yeah.
Some more of those DPS heroes. Maybe Munchkin potentially on the Tracer on certain points, not on Sanctum, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, you don't see a lot of Pharah on Sanctum these days. You used to. There was a time when Pharah was pretty common on Sanctum, but not lately.
Yeah, not lately, and I don't know if Seoul really needs to take a risk right now. I think if you're Seoul Dynasty and you're rolling into this, you see the new lineup, the complete lineup from Boston, you say, let's see if we can play triple tank, triple support into them. What happens then? Do we even need to go to anything else?
Let's find out. Fusion swapping back and forth a little bit between the Reinhardt and the Winston. They eventually decide to settle on the Winston. Fissure on the Winston on the other side as well. Ooh, and a flank coming in from Fusions. Just want to tickle the Seoul Dynasty team as they walk in. To Boston, getting aggressive. Ooh, gets stunned immediately. Barely gets. Whoa, he was down to like 25 HP there. I am shocked that he escaped with his life. That was a very dangerous moment for Boston.
Yeah, I too am amazed that he was able to get out of that scenario, and yet Boston keeps pushing forward. They've split up the Dynasty.
Yeah, that's right. Could be a problem for Seoul if Boston can kind of pick them apart here. They've got them bottled up by the door at the moment as they retreat. Boston claims a point first, so the Seoul Dynasty on the outside looking in so far.
And that was really due to Fusion's initial positioning there.
Yeah. Now they're getting aggressive again. Oh, Blase behind Fissure, though. Gets the stun, and they take out the Winston. Meanwhile, Fusion's going to fall on the other side as well, so it's a 5v5. Now Fleta going down Boston with the advantage here. Aim God and the other support, Kelix, just free-firing from the tertiary parts of the fight.
Yeah, and Fusion's, like I said, he really triggered that because by using his jump to get into position first, they took over the center of the map and forced Seoul Dynasty back. That gave Boston the priority on the point to take it and then forced the retake from Seoul Dynasty.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. If you're going to engage with the Winston jump, you better make sure you get a kill or two out of that. Otherwise, you're in trouble here. There's the grab coming in from Boston. Catches Fissure up. Can they get the kill, though? They send out the self-destruct. Not going to do anything really too much. Now the grab comes in on the Seoul side, but again, no kills from those ultimates. That said, Seoul Dynasty still not on the point. Sound barrier comes in, Fusion's low health, has to escape while he's in that primal rage. Another self-destruct. Oh, that time it caught Kelix, and now Boston in a little bit of trouble here. As suddenly Seoul Dynasty with a big advantage in this fight. Looks like they're going to flip this one back.
And Michelle's self-destruct made so much space by forcing 3 members of the Boston Uprising back. Absolutely fantastic self-destruct. Even got the bonus elimination onto Kelix. As it was just past the lip, he didn't have any cover right there, and Seoul mops up the fight after that.
So now, Seoul Dynasty has to hold it. Pretty good first hold for Boston, though, on the other side. 69% is nothing to laugh at. Now, Fissure dropping down behind the back lines of Seoul, but Aim God already taking out his counterpart on the other side. Jaehong out. Sound barrier for Boston as they charge in now. They're going to try to advance back on the point. Seoul has to fall back, but Boston already with a good position. And, man, they're going to take it basically for free.
I mean, killing Jaehong right there was the best thing that could have happened because he had his trance up, right?
Yeah.
They had just used Munchkin's rally and he didn't have the extra armor on him yet. So Jaehong actually crucial elimination there from Aim God.
Yeah.
Seoul can't fight that fight afterwards.
That happens sometimes. Sometimes those right clicks come through for you. Graviton Surge now onto Seoul Dynasty. The self-destruct comes in, and that's 2 from Note. He's going to demech Michelle with that one as well. Boston Uprising 90% and counting here on the verge of taking the lead here on Nepal.
Yeah, Boston really pulling through, riding through that initial momentum. Seoul going to try and make it to the point, but they can't even get there.
Yeah, nobody makes it back to the point, and I'd say that was a pretty decisive victory in round 1 by Boston.
Yeah, it was, and a lot of that was because Boston was playing more aggressively at first and taking up more space. Seoul was playing it more like they had a Reinhardt as their tank rather than a Winston to start off that engagement. Initial control percent goes over to the Boston Uprising, and they can snowball that into a win. So Boston right now looking good, and one of our keys that we talked about earlier today for Seoul was that they needed to play a more aggressive style, which is the better style that we've seen from Seoul. Sure. They're not the New York Excelsior. They can't play super passively and expect to win these fights.
I agree. So they're going to have a chance to try to tie things up here on round number 2. We're going to Shrine. And Seoul Dynasty rolling out with the Reinhardt compositions. Both teams deciding to go for that for the 3-3. This one's Fusion's on the point immediately, though. It's going to be Seoul Dynasty trying to break their way in yet again here.
Yeah, Boston just makes it to the point first, and they're just forcing retakes left and right from Seoul.
That's a bit of a risk to kind of charge the point so aggressively. Oh, but they cut Vision off, and ooh, he's lucky he fell back there. I think they're still going to be able to take him. Nice move by Forté, actually, but it does split up Seoul. They managed to save Fissure, but they're going to have to give up the point early. Maybe they're trying to get on there again. We'll see if they can do it once again. Fissure separated from the remainder of his team. Seoul scrambling here. And there's kills coming in on both sides. Crucially, Seoul has taken down Fusion, so that is something. But Boston responding, a couple clean support kills on their side of things, and they're going to get a really fast rally from Blase, and that is going to be a take for Boston as soon as they clear up the rest of the members of Seoul. So Seoul kind of on the back foot from the beginning of that. You know, Fissure really should have died in that initial engagement, but he kind of got bounced over the wall and escaped with a bit of help from Forté. And they just couldn't put together a good attack after that.
No, and I mean, Forté going down first, absolutely huge. At the very least, Seoul didn't give up any control percent during that engagement, so they don't actually lose that much from the fight, and they get the rally out at the end. So with only about 18% when they come back, this is still a winnable engagement for Seoul.
Yeah, good amount of ultimates coming on board for them right now, so they've got a shot, just have to buy a little bit more time. They've got 4 right now, nearly 5. Fully loaded coming in here. There's a Graviton Surge. Use Forté saving is at the moment. Jexley does not last too long. Oh, and there's 2 more from Note. Boston Uprising wasting no time in dismantling Dynasty.
I mean, what I don't understand, though, is how many of these kills that Aim God is getting right now. There's a hero in this game called Sombra that disables a lot of these combos and can one-shot a Zenyatta if you use the EMP.
And she's particularly good on Shrine if you're looking at Nepal, too.
Yeah, I'm a little bit... We'll see how it goes on some of these Escort and Hybrid maps where Sombra does tend to see more use, but it seems like Boston is just getting their way right now.
Yeah, I think so. I'm a little bit surprised to see Seoul not being a bit more aggressive with the Sombra. I wonder what they're afraid of here. Rally. Now for Seoul Dynasty, they're going to try to move in again. There's a nice Earth Shatter coming in, though, for Fusions. They're going to pair it with the Sound Barrier to push Seoul back. They've already taken out Fissure, so this is a 1 fight for Boston yet again, and they are above 70% now, basically 1 more fight away from 2-0ing here on Nepal.
And as we've seen, though, you know, the Seoul Dynasty, they wanted to opt into the triple tank, triple support mirror against Boston. Boston is convincingly beating them at it right now.
Well, we knew they were really good with this, right? And we came into this match saying that we thought Seoul the advantage, but we were basing that on the assumption that they were going to bring out Michelle Sombra because we've seen it so much and it's been so good, but Seoul just unwilling to do that now, and I think they might pay for that here. All right, Earth Shatter knocks down Note. They need more than that. Now Graviton Surge sent in. Can they get some kills? That's 3 for Michelle. That's the play that Seoul was looking for, but already 99% for Boston. I don't know if Seoul, even if they take it now, has the stability to return this one, but at least they've been given a chance.
I mean, Color Hex is going to have that grab up right now. Michelle is going to need a hell of a defensive matrix to make this work, considering they're still 20% away from that Transcendence.
Well, that's the thing, man. I mean, Seoul Dynasty has a mountain to climb here if they're going to tie up this series. 99% for Boston. Seoul just now passing 20. They need to have some very efficient, very solid defenses with a minimal ult bank.
They're going to try and poke it out right now, see if they can get Jaehong's trance up, but that's not going to be enough to stop the grab self-destruct combo.
There we go, there's the grab. Self-destruct thrown in there by Note. More kills? No, not this time. They're able to save some people. Jaehong pops that Transcendence to heal any of the damage that was done. And now back on Fusions. They're going to get the kill. Jaehong with a finishing blow in Seoul Dynasty. An opportunity to defend. Losing that Reinhardt is big. There goes Note. The tank's out of the way. Color Hex backing up, wants to save that Zarya energy intelligently, and Boston, they can play it safe though. It's 50% for Seoul, but Boston still has at least 2 more fights in this.
Yeah, they've got some advantage right now, but Seoul Dynasty doing a good job of using their Reinhardt barrier as well as the body block on the Transcendence to stop a lot of that incoming damage from the self-destruct.
You put that Zen between you and the blast, you're gonna live, even if you don't have a shield of your own. Seoul Dynasty now, they're gonna have the sound barrier in just a second. Self-destruct up as well as grab soon again. Boston, a good amount of ultimates for them too as they advance. Fusion's looking for that sweet, sweet shatter. Where is it?
I think he's gonna find it.
Oh, well, he's gonna block Fissures first of all. There's the Semmler going back in, full shatters blocked. It's gonna be the self-destruct though, thrown in by Michelle. Oh, that was a sick charge from Fissure. The boop as well, setting up the 4K, make it a 5K if you count the Diva Mech on Node. And that's Seoul Dynasty. They may have locked up this point. I don't know if Boston can even really get back there. Overtime, stalled by Note just a bit in that mini Diva form.
They can, they have a wrecking ball, but Fusions is not gonna last long.
There's only so much you can do. They're trying to make a play with it. There's a Graviton Surge. If they can get some kills out of this, maybe they can do it, but Fusion's so low already. It's gonna be the rally for Seoul. Color Hex taken out. Another slam from Fusions, but he is a wrecking ball alone, and you need more than that to knock down the Seoul Dynasty here on Shrine, it looks like. Now it's a solo queue strat, just swinging around the pole until somebody finally kills you. I love that one. Lucio being annoying, but it's only a matter of time, and Seoul Dynasty will tie it up. They dug deep, and they got it done.
Yeah, the Shrine tether ball strat right there just for the delay.
We need like Napoleon Dynamite, like hitting that or something. I don't know.
All right, we're going to see the Jexi boop right here coming in at the end of the Graviton there to set up the self-destruct play. You know, I mean, that was perfect timing from several members of the Seoul Dynasty. Jexi really nailing it right as that Graviton was falling off. That's what enables Seoul to go ahead and win the map.
You got Fissure denying the Reinhardt shield completely with the charge, and then everybody else put right in the blast radius. You know, people complain about this meta, but one thing I really love about it is getting to see Lucio's be big playmakers again. Yeah. I've missed that, and this is definitely a meta for Lucio's. So here we go, on to Village. The last point on Nepal. Seoul Dynasty, after a rough round on Sanctum, winning it on Shrine, looking to take this map right now.
Yeah, now they're trying to play more aggressively this time. They're just going in.
No kidding. Well, they trade Brigidas. They trade Reinhardts. J-Home down, there goes Fleta. Wow, it is a knockdown, drag-out fight. Seoul Dynasty trying to win this one, but in the end, Boston Uprising with a bit more beef left on the field, and it looks like they're gonna be able to claim the point first.
Yeah, this time Seoul Dynasty was not going to give up any kind of room to the Boston Uprising. The Boston uses some of those choke points as they fall back to their advantage. Maybe a bit of an over pursuit from Seoul there. As soon as they got that space, they have chance to rotate to the point and then force that retake. Instead, they all in.
I mean, it kind of looked like they got that first kill, and they're like, all right, we got this, and then they went a little bit overboard.
That's why you remember that you have objectives that are not eliminations in this game.
That is true. No pure deathmatch yet. Please. I want that someday. 6v6, knockout to the limb. Let's do it. Seoul Dynasty, once again on the outside looking in, trying to take the point here. 30% for Boston. Waiting for those ultimates to come online. They've got the shatter from Fusions. They've got the tools. And they're gonna go into the self-destruct. Ooh, the shatter, and that's gonna be Munchkin get caught by it, but they get aim god on the other side. There goes Blase as well. So Seoul Dynasty, Fleta striking back, but that is a very charged up Color X. If he can get some good damage in there, but I think you just want to save the grab here. Backing away now. Boston Uprising may just hand this one over for the moment. Yep, there goes Fusions. And so it looks like it's the old die on the point strategy just to get as much percentage as you can. And Seoul Dynasty will flip it at 61. A pretty good hold for Boston again that time.
Yeah, they did have a good hold, and they did hold on to their abilities. I think it was a bit too aggressive. What Boston was trying to do there was take advantage of the two ults that they had, which were the self-destruct and the Earth Shatter. But they didn't really catch anybody out with the Earth Shatter, and the self-destruct didn't do enough to zone people or even really do all that much damage. So
very true. All right, here we go. Boston just charging their way onto the point again. They don't even want to give Seoul the chance to respond. Seoul barely getting there. They're kind of the defenders or the attackers. Oh, that was a nice one. 2 tanks knocked out by that shatter, but they got to finish up. There's a grab. Self-destruct comes in. Can they get rid of the Ryan shield? I think they did. Enough to kill Color Hex anyway. They got him out from behind him, but there goes Munchkin. Oh, and a bigger shatter coming in from Fusions. Trying to capitalize on it with a couple support kills, and they do flip it back. Again, blows dealt to both sides. Boston Uprising getting the flip, but Seoul Dynasty not giving it up just yet. They might have a chance here. They have to wait a little bit. There's the self-destruct. Fleta getting charged up from that one. Michelle did get caught for that. They're going to use the grab. I don't know about that one, Monty.
We'll see if they can get back in. They have Azaria and 3 supports on the point right now. Reinhardt has returned, so maybe they can knock this one out.
Perhaps. They have a lot of low health members over on the Boston side. Boston scrambling here, and there goes the Reinhardt and the Brigida and the Note, which is the Diva. Seoul Dynasty flips it back. 89% for Boston. Still maybe one big fight away from claiming the map, but Seoul with another lease on life.
Yeah, Fleta's move there with the grab actually turned out to be very beneficial. He's already 70% to a new one, and he bought time for his supports. He realized that he was the one who was going to be able to deal damage, and he had all of the healing available to him, so he was going to be able to power through the Boston tanks.
Important to note, too, Boston is 0-2 on this map so far this season. Looking for their first win here. Jae-Hong does take out Aim God in the 1v1. There goes Fleta with a kill on Diffusions. Things crumbling at the very end for Boston. It's going to be Fleta finishing some people off, and now it's going to be positive 70% for Seoul Dynasty here.
Yeah, one fight left, and Boston's in a rough space. No charge on the Zarya, not even a Graviton Surge. They don't have a way to deal with the Grab Bomb combo, really. That instant damage won't be stopped by the Trance unless they can get it via a body block.
So Boston's they don't have time to play it slow, but they need to buy some time to give themselves those ultimates on the Reinhardt, arm the Zarya. And awaiting it out right now, but they have to get aggressive here. Seoul Dynasty, all they need to do is use these ults well, and they'll claim the map. Going in there now. Fleta biding his time. There's the grab for Seoul Dynasty. It's going to be the Transcendence right away for Aim God. Michelle with the self-destruct. No kills out of that one, but it does deny a lot of the grab damage for Boston. Fissure needs some healing. Get low fusions waiting in. Gets the kill with a bit of help from Note. Seoul Dynasty reeling here. They're losing everybody, and now the sound barrier for Boston is going to help them flip the point, but it's 99% for Seoul. If they scramble, they've got one more fight.
I don't know if they do, though. That's the thing. They're going to have to get onto this point really quickly. They already have a Hammond down. But Fusions, counter-shattering off of the Graviton Surge, got them enough time. No follow-up damage from the Dynasty, so it's going to be a wrecking ball here. Fissure trying to get on. Can't even get on the point. That's it.
That is it. Boston Uprising will take Nepal 2-1. Able to do it. Great first map. Seoul Dynasty keeping it close with Boston Uprising with the better plays in the end. I think we're in for a great series, guys. We're going to take a quick break, and then map 2 coming at you right after this.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.